Okay, so in this video I want to set up our React router so that we can have different routes, because right now we just have our components embedded right into our main app component, but we can have different routes. So let's go ahead and open up VS Code, and I'm just going to close this stuff up for now, except for app.js. And I'm going to stop the server, and I'm going to do npm install react-router-dom, which will install the latest version, which is version 4. And make sure you do React Router DOM, not just React Router. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start our server back up. And in our app.js, we're going to do a couple things. We want to bring in, so we're going to import a couple things from the router. So we want to bring in browser router. And I'm going to give this an alias. We're going to say as router, make it a bit shorter. We also want to bring in switch and route. Okay, so all of these are going to come from the React Router DOM. All right, now in order to use the router, we have to go down to our main app render, and we have to wrap everything in the router. So right here, we're going to do router, grab that and put that on the end. Okay, now what I'd like to do is have the stuff that we have right now on our page, I want that to be our home route. And the problem that we have here is we have a couple things on our home route. We have the search form, or a couple components I should say, and the users component. So there's a couple things we could do here. We could create another page or another component called home and just embed these in there, and I probably will end up doing that after, but I want to show you how you can put multiple components in a single route. So right here I'm going to put in a switch. Okay, so we just want to wrap all our routes in a switch so that it shows one at a time. And then we're going to add a route, and we want to give it a path, and the path is going to be just slash. It's going to be the home page, the index. I'm also going to put exact because I want it to match this exact path, and then we're going to put what's called a render prop. So we're going to say render, and we're going to open up some curly braces. Let's just close off this route tag too. And inside here, this takes in props with an arrow. And then we can render here a fragment or whatever we want. I'm going to use a fragment. And inside this fragment, I'm going to put the search and the users. So I'll grab those. And we'll go ahead and just paste those in right here. And that should work. So if we hit we should get the same response or the same result we have now, where if we go to the home page, we see the search and the users. Fragment is not defined, so we have to bring that in up here. And we'll save that. I spelt it wrong. Okay, so let's go back and we get the same response. Let's make sure this still works. Good. Clear it up. Okay, now let's create another route to an about component, which will be just the whole page. It'll be an about page, just so I can show you how we can create a route without having to use, this render props here. So we're going to create a new component. I'm actually going to create a new folder in components called pages. So basically for just single pages, and we'll create a file here called about.js. And it's not going to have any state, so we'll do RACF, just an arrow function. And let's do an H1, and we'll just say about this app. We'll put a paragraph, and we'll just say app to search, search GitHub users. And then we'll just put another paragraph with the version of 1.0.0. And we don't actually need a div. We could bring in a fragment. Okay, so we'll save that. Now let's create a route to /about that will load that component. So first thing we need to do is in our main app.js, let's import about from ./component/pages/about. And then to create a route, we'll go under our first route here, which ends right here. And let's say route. And we're going to put in exact path equals, and the path is going to be /about. And then all we have to do, since it's a single component, is simply say component equals about. Just like that. So let's save. And now if we go back to our browser here and we go to /about, we get our about component, or our about page. So now I want to have a link. I want to put some links up here for our home page and for the about page. So let's go to our navbar, which is in the layout, so navbar.js. And the way that we do this is we don't actually use A tags, okay, because this is client-side routing. And we don't want, actually I'm going to do an example of why we don't want to use an A tag. So let's put a UL here. We'll do an LI, and I'm going to use an A tag for now that goes to /. Let's have that go to home, and then we'll put another LI with an A tag that goes to /about. All right, so if I save this and we go to our application, you can see we have our links. And they do in fact work, but what I want to do is search for a user, or search for users, and I get my results. They're in the state. Now if I go to the about using an A tag and I go back, you can see that the state's cleared. It doesn't stay. So what we want to do is we want to use link from React Router. So I'm going to bring into the navbar component. I'm going to open up some curly braces here and bring in link. And the reason we use curly braces is because this is not the default export. When you export default like this, then you wouldn't use curly braces. React Router DOM exports a bunch of stuff that are not default, so you use curly braces. So let's say from React Router DOM, and then we're going to change the A tags. Let's change all of these. Actually, we'll just change that to link, and then href is going to get changed to 2. Okay, same thing here. Let's say link, and then href will get changed to 2. So now if I go back and I do a search and I go to about and then I go back home, notice that the state is still intact. Okay, so it doesn't do a complete refresh like it would with a standard A tag. So whenever you're creating links that go within your application, you want to make sure you use link from React Router DOM. Okay, so that's the basics on how React Router works, how you can set up components to be links. Now what I want to do is start to work on the user page. I don't want, let's just search for something here. I don't want these buttons to actually go to the GitHub profile off the site or off our application like it is doing currently. I want it to go to a special component called user that will have, you know, all their information, and we'll even fetch the repos and stuff like that. Okay, so we'll do that in the next video.